Well, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where we have the pleasure of joining you from today. Well, it is another exciting week here at PPM Works. We have a bunch of new things that are coming down after a great OnePlan conference. We have a few targeted webinars in and around how to advance and really be more efficient all around project management. This is one of them. We're going to be diving in deep into OnePlan as well as across the entire portfolio of products that we're going to be offering, but particularly in and around how do you become, just a more efficient project manager, and what does that mean? Well, before we go ahead and get started, there are another few webinars that are coming up. You can see them on the screen, but in February, we're going to be dancing around again with some resource management. We're going to be talking about a little bit about AI automation. I'm going to show you a little bit, okay, within OnePlan here today, but we're going to be more talking about AI across the industry, across project management. And then we're going to be getting into March and some of the spring break out there, hopefully, or looking forward to some warmer weather up here in New England. It's a little chilly, got some beautiful snow on the ground. We love it. That's why we live here, but also looking forward to some nice, warmer spring weather for sure. That's going to bring us into our hybrid methodology and looking at, really making it work for your organization. And within your organization, you may have multiple ways of doing stuff. So make sure you go ahead and list on there, subscribe, and also make sure that you're looking at these. If you do have any questions, if you're watching this from a recorded session, that's great. Just pop them in the comments here on YouTube or send out to us at info@ppmworks.com. We'll be sure to get it. So, what are we looking at today? While we're talking about overall project management, there are tons of tools that are out there. If you've seen any of our previous webinars, you know that we've sort of settled on the Microsoft space. That is the best area from a perspective of getting things done, the work management piece of this, whether it's insular, meaning looking at just tasks and execution, or you get more enterprise, which we're going to be talking about, and looking across resource management, forecasting, as well as financials. And you wrap all that in to get both the intake as well as the out, meaning the benefits at the end. That's what we're going to be looking at. So today, how do you become easier? How does it become easier using tool set? We're going to focus on OnePlan. We're going to look at some reporting. We're going to look at AI, and we're going to get into all of that. But first of all, for some that haven't been around and haven't seen this before, what is OnePlan and why do we espouse it? We use it here at PPM Works for all of our services and as well as our support solutions that come through. We can understand and look at who's available, when clients need which roles, and be able to really do some very in-depth, resource management, forecasting, as well as budget tracking and proposals. That's us, a service industry that uses that. Now, in your industry, you might be looking at something and saying, hey, I already have Microsoft. I've been using maybe Project over here, SharePoint, PowerPoint, or maybe some other tools. Again, you can bring all those into one area. This is the single place for everything at that portfolio level, whether you're talking about more of a strategic drive initiative and then more of that top-down planning, or you're really getting into the execution. So we talked about bringing in all of those various tool sets that are out here. Here's just an array, if you will, of what we've been able to bring into the tool out there. You can see everything from, your Jira or more your agile areas all the way across the board. You're getting resources in through Workday or ServiceNow tickets coming in. Whatever you're doing from that level, or you're capturing financials from Oracle, SAP, it doesn't really matter. We're able to bring all that information in and or push information out of this tool. That's why we really like it. So think of that platform of being very receptive to everything that you're currently doing. And then the users themselves can go in and say, you know what, I know I can do this in both areas. Which do I prefer with methodology, and which is frankly easier to use, and get the information off. And a lot of our users and clients are seeing that as they transcend, across these different areas, and they have groups that do things entirely different, they're using this platform as that unique identifier combination, if you will, the one-stop shop for everything that they're doing across their projects. Now, I can change that word from projects to portfolio to program to product. Okay. All we're talking about is doing all that across the board. A couple of years back, that buzzword was tequilibrium. I'm trying to say that. Really taking technological equilibrium and putting that together and saying, hey, we can bring everything into one area. Okay. So you join this because we're taking a look at how it can become easier using toolset. Everything is going to be on the Microsoft toolset, right? But here you can take your top down. So are we doing the right projects, okay, and bringing those in from a portfolio and looking at those and being able to do some modeling and some what if and drag and drop and look across all of our resources, right, that we're looking at and all of our projects across all of our different groups or areas of recognition that we want to take, as well as our portfolios. And it's going to be that top down strategy that's going to push into that, which is core and key for everybody. Hey, are we doing the right projects? But do we have enough bodies, right, to do this? And if we don't, can we show that? Hey, the IT group really needs more, or we need more system engineers to do X, Y, Z. Again, maybe it's something that's coming off to your clinical area and saying, hey, we have no visibility once we get into that clinical area or clinical trial information, right? So again, pulling all that information back and being very open with that process, both from a leadership perspective, but also the execution. Now, as we talk about the state of PPM, it's not only that top area, you're really going to be taking in the doers, the work. So we're talking about projects, we're talking about initiatives, benefits, and those tasks that are associated, those assignments at the detail level for named resources. But also maybe you don't work that way and you say, hey, we have groups of people. Perfect, right? Or maybe it's just your generic roles that you need to see. Well, we can get that information that's out there. And again, you're going to see all these logos that pop up. If folks are using these other tools, and that's okay, for task management, or maybe getting in their sprints and doing their different bugs, risks, however you're doing this, okay, great. Pull that information in, right? That's what we need. Rather than sitting in different status meetings or getting emails and trying to pull in different Excel spreadsheets, let the tool simply do it for you. Now, we talk about OKRs just very quickly. How does this benefit you as a project manager? It's because if you know the direction that each one of your projects should be going, meaning we're pulling an alignment of a strategic goal or objective there, then we can then flip that over and say, okay, now we need to prioritize those. And once you prioritize at that level, now we know which projects then subsequently we should be focusing on. So again, there always is that top-down lever that you can use within this solution. You don't need to, but if and when you get there, that's really going to be the fulcrum point potentially for prioritization. Now, you still can do prioritization just within the tool, a rote list of numbers if you want to, and that's pretty darn cool. It also allows you to model. Now, what we have up on screen here is a screenshot of the resource capacity. Why do we spend so much time on here? Is because this is really one of the key areas that people say, I need help. I need to be able to do this. So OnePlan allows you to go across your entire resource workload, if you will, and look across it and say, who's doing what, when, and can I actually go in there and take a look at that over allocated resource and then go ahead and match them and start doing some resource scenario planning. Up top, you're going to take a look and you can see that we have different projects. We can actually slide these projects back and forth, not only from a duration and timeline perspective, but also down below, we can look at the skill set or the groups maybe that you have or teams that are doing the particular work and start toggling back and forth and moving that and really figuring out what the best case scenario is when we talk about resource management. Now, Teams collaboration, if you are using Microsoft Teams, this is where you can really leverage that to start doing some chats. Your document storage, version history, issues, risks. What about those pesky change requests that you have out there? What determines what a change request is? You can very easily set these up, whether it's a list in Teams or just a conversation using Loop or anything else that you're going to be using from a one note perspective, meaning OneNote. Teams like we're doing here, if you could have Teams running with Copilot. It could do a summary of all those notes that you have, put our action items in there, one click, be able to right click on those and make them tasks within your project, right within Planner, or in this case, within OnePlan. So again, pulling that information in. When you get into the area of effort and people doing things, that's the area of the tool called My Work. And now that's where you're really saying, okay, folks, here you go. You help me now as a project manager. I have all these tasks and I'm trying to organize, and I'm trying to reach out to you and say, hey, where are we on these? Are there any risks that we need? Do we need to push this out? Everything that you as a project manager do, excellent, right? Now we're having the ability to streamline that, get that information back to us very quickly, those updates or the key information that we're going to need. It's okay to make things red, folks. It's okay to be late if, one, we can explain it, and two, it doesn't keep trending that way, right? Or maybe we need to get you some help potentially. All of these are pieces that we can use in our toolkit of our project management repertoire, if you will, within OnePlan to say, hey, let's expose this information, give it to you so you can actually collaborate and work on those. For those folks that are out there that are doing timesheets, this is a fantastic tool and ability for you as a project manager to say, perfect, I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to manage these projects, maybe multiple projects, maybe even projects across multiple groups or business units, right? And I just want to be able to assign those projects to someone or some group, and I'd like to get some input back. Well, one way they could do that is using the out-of-the-box timesheet feature within OnePlan, and they can get down to the project level, the initiative level of what they're working on, when they should be doing it, and how much effort they should be putting on. Again, this is time for an interaction where they can sort of push back and say, hey, this is not aligning with what I need, or maybe I did some other effort, non-project work that I need to put in here. If you're not doing timesheets, no problem. You just turn that off. But this is ability for those timesheet users or someone that does track across multiple projects and non-projects to put their time in at a weekly level, at a daily level typically is what they do, and they submit it, and you can actually have your approvals when you do that. Now, AI and reporting has been requested in any tool that you do. It is the epitome of getting that data out to organizations. And what's the tool set that typically happens? Folks start doing PowerPoint presentations. They leverage different reporting tools such as a Tableau or Power BI or something else that's out there, right? Microsoft is a big Power BI component. We are as well. That is dovetailed and put right into OnePlan. So you can actually create your different reports, dashboards, and or AI-driven reports. And I'll show you some of this, where you can ask it questions, meaning AI, how are we doing? Can you create a project for me, right? And you start getting back and forth that information on your data, so your reports. Again, leading into that, where AI, think of it as an assistant for you to go through and comb that information and really to improve your capabilities of delivering projects more effectively, on time, or more communicatively, meaning we're opening that transparency, if you will, and saying, look, we're going to have an issue down the road. AI can help you to look at that and say, how are we trending on this particular project? Or can you fill out a business case based on, okay, this particular WBS? Wouldn't that be pretty cool? Well, it is, and I'm going to show you a little bit about that today. So for those folks that are on the recording, I'm going to show you at the end, make sure that you do subscribe to our other channels. There's a bunch that's out there and that you can actually pull and get that information in. Now, I did mention that we're going to do a quick demonstration now. So I'm going to pull that up on the screen now and we can get into just one of our demo environments. So what are we looking at here? Remember, we said we're coming on to a demo environment. We're looking at OnePlan. I happen to be an admin, okay? So top right-hand corner, you can see I'm an admin login. I might see things on the left-hand side. If you're new to this, you can just pop that out and see all those areas that I just talked about that we mentioned, right? Seeing everything at the portfolio level. We talked about my work and timesheets area, as well as the resource plans, meaning the resource management piece that's capable of the tool. Now, I mentioned that we're going to see a few things. The first is we're going to take a look at all this from a project manager's perspective. This is a very easy way for me to go across, and on each project, we're having a meeting right now. I could say, okay, let's go ahead and look at a particular portfolio, okay, and I'm going to go into that particular portfolio or maybe even program, and I can go across all 10 of these projects, initiatives, and make my status or potentially financial risk say, okay, you know, Paula, we were just talking about the Microsoft Planner 365 implementation. How's it going? Oh, it's at risk. Oh, why is it at risk, right? And I can add things in directly right from here. Single click, right? I can go into a quick edit screen on my right-hand side, and I can actually update a bunch of things from my description. Paula, what are you seeing going on? Oh, well, here it is. Or I can come in here and say, hey, can you create me a business case, AI? Generate a business case about this project, right? And in this case, we're doing a deployment of Microsoft Planner 365 across multiple BUs, across, right? And when you do this, business units, AI is going to go out there and recommend something, right? And once you get that, that's great. You can grab that information. You can say, yep, AI, and her name here is Sophia AI. It's going to grab that and say, hey, based on the information that I have in this project plan and things that I have access to out there, I'm going to give you a response. And I can actually put that directly in this answer here. So it comes back, it says, hey, this initiative is about, strategic deployment across multiple things. There's some objectives that I have. What are the deliverables? Where did it get those deliverables? It looked at the schedule, folks, that you just created, and it created that. And then what do we need to do, right? What are some best practices that we should do there? We definitely need to do some risk management, et cetera. And you can say, yep, I want to accept this, or maybe I want to retry it. I can add this directly in. Boom, here's all my information. Go off to my business case, my value. All of these fields over here are 100% configurable, folks, by the way, as well. If I wanted to expand this and see a little bit more information, again, I can come in here. Now, that was just a business case itself. As I dive into this planner, maybe I need to add a different task or do something in there. I can go directly, okay, to the work plan, pull up that list, um, add in my different tasks, everything that I'd like to do. And I can see that this is actually integrated directly into Microsoft Planner. So it's actually pulling that information back and forth from Planner. So a user doesn't even need to go into this tool. They just simply open up Microsoft Planner. They see a testing area. They're able to fill it in. Up comes my information directly back to it. As I did mention integrations, there are several different logos here. So again, pull information in from Teams, from Jira, from Smartsheet, Monday.com, Asana, DevOps, and I think, oh, there's even Rike up top that I missed over here, right? So you have a bunch of information pulling this information in. You'll be able to see it all in one place. So key number one, very easy for project management, quickly, easy updates. Look at your budget, okay? Group, categorize, all right, and provide those information. You can also add access to exteriors. Maybe you're working with a vendor or a different group. You can add them directly to a particular project or an entire program portfolio. It's really up to you within the system. we talked about two different things we wanted to show. One is a roadmap, going in here, taking a look at everything. We can start to see, okay, across our business unit application, here are our different initiatives that we're doing. And by the way, what are they as far as tracking? So their status, are they on time, on budget, or are they over in this case, off track? Um, in this, from a schedule perspective, right? Also, we did talk about those dashboards. As I pull that up, you can see our three logos coming. We do need sign into Power. Let me just go ahead and pull that up for us. And when we do bring up our Power BI, it's going to bring up all of our different reports that we have. Now, as that's being pulled up, I'll just let that run for a second. I'll go back to our area here. There we are. It's going to bring a useful report back. Now, this might not be your final report back, okay? You can take a look at it and say, yep, I like these different areas. That's where you can go in. You have the keys to the kingdom, if we say, and you can go in and change this. If you do have Power BI resources, great. Go in there, update this. If you need help, you reach out to PPM Works. We'll help you with all that. We are very good at, hey, this is the report we need. We go off and say, hey, it's going to take us X amount of hours to create that. Let's roll that into your services, okay? And we'll create that as well as providing you ongoing support. So we're looking at a lot of information here. We were able to quickly go in, take a look at all of our initiatives, right? Very quickly status those, both from a schedule perspective, but also financial issues, risks, and all of our budgetary information right across the board. We were able to go into a particular, in this case, project, right? Take a look at it. We could also create a new project by just going in here and saying, hey, what do we want to create? We'd like to create an AI adoption project. Let's try that one. Tell AI what we want to do. I could have created some fields there. It again selected some fields. I could have added additional fields on that. AI is going to go off and say, okay, based on some information that you provided me, I'm going to go off and create a new project that's called AI deployment. And it goes off and creates that right here. You can see that it's going in. It's going to say, hey, what business unit do I want to go in? That's, of course, our IT. It puts in some description. Okay, I can change all that if I want to. Where's my business use case that I have? Okay, all this information that it's putting in, and then I can go in and align it to my strategy and some other things. It's going across all this and creating that project. Great. As I go and actually go in and look across my different areas, I'm also going to start seeing some other things that it created. So did it create, my different views and things like that? Um, if I dive back into there, some people are going to say, oh, wait, so just created the project for you. How do you go ahead and create a different the schedule? Well, in this case, my friends, notice that it has a particular workflow. So this would go through in the planning as I go through and start this. That is part of the planning effort. Okay. So you go through there, you'd create your schedule that would add in your task. You actually can use AI to do that as well and create that. So very easy, again, to go in here and start creating and manipulating some of these plans that you have, or create new plans from scratch. Now, some folks say, hey, we're going to pull this plan in from Microsoft Project or something else. Great. You can actually create your project professional file. You're going to bring it in here. I'm going to go over to the work plan in this case, and I can import that directly into OnePlan. So all of this information is directly in here. If I go to my integrations up here, it says, hey, pal, the last time you actually imported was last week. I can go and open this directly. It's going to pull up Microsoft Project. I can do all of my stuff right within Microsoft Project and manage my entire project within Microsoft Project. So for those people that are used to Microsoft Project, that's what you do. That's pulling up on my other screen. I can just pull that over so you can go ahead and see that. And again, everything that you're doing within the tool set is for you to make things easier. Okay. In this case, someone's using Microsoft Project. They want to manage everything over here, but we're going to pull in all the information into OnePlan so we could see all that and manage our resources and potentially our strategic goals. All right. So again, took a look at very quickly creating projects, aligning them, looking at updating, uh, integrating with Microsoft Project, talking about teams, looking at AI, doing some resourcing, as well as looking at our dashboards. The last area I do want to lean off on is status reports. Each and every project that you can see has status reports. Okay. And as we go into those particular status reports, it's going to be created for you, auto generated within the tool. Now, this you can run on a schedule. You can see that this has been running every week for that matter. If I scroll down here, every week it's been running for us. So looks like on Thursday it runs here, and it's going to run next Thursday, the 13th, for us. And I can see that it's pulling all this information in. I can again go down here and use AI and say, you know, what are some planned activities for this project? Now you can do all this manually, or you can start using the tool sets. What you're seeing is the emphatic resolution, if you will, to start using this tool set. And I can go ahead and accept this. It's going to pull that in. And maybe I don't like how this looks. So then I can go back in and edit this a little bit more. I'll pull this up and we can do some editing, right? I can grab all this stuff. You guys get it. You don't need to watch me do this, but very quickly, it's pulling some information and starting to do some work and grasping that for me to start doing my planning. All right. Now I know that was a lot. You can see that I really enjoy what I'm talking about, so I start to fly when I do some of these things, right? And I did want to pull us back into where we left off and showing you that there are a bunch of more webcasts that we have out there, as well as your ability to follow us. So go out there on YouTube. Make sure you go ahead and you're subscribing to us. Also, if you're interested in our organization offers workshops, see if you qualify for a free OnePlan or Microsoft workshop. We're happy to help you there. We do everything from Office 365 or Microsoft 365 applications. Really, we select on the enhancement or in getting you folks more efficient on managing these processes. So that's how we sort of take a look and a lens on all of that. Lastly, I'd ask you to reach out to me. Always love meeting new folks. So go ahead and take a look at that. Link me in if you'd like. But the last thing down here is the info@ppmworks.com. So if you have any questions, please reach out to our team here at info@ppmworks.com, and we'll be sure to get back to you when we can. And on that, my friends, I'm going to say thank you for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your week. It's Friday somewhere. Just checking. It's Wednesday here on this recording, but you folks, make sure you reach back out to us. If there's anything that you need or any questions you had on this video, just back down in the comments, send a little quick note. And if there's also anything that you're looking for or have help requests on, shoot us a note over at support.ppmworks.com and we'll be sure to get back to you. From all of us over here at ppmworks.com, I just want to say thank you very much for joining. Have yourself a great day, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.